Our next speaker today is coming to us from Norfolk, Nebraska. She is a co-founder, a co-owner of Dacos, and they are doing absolutely amazing things. Tammy, we're excited to have you here and present and talk a little bit about the work that you're doing as well as your upcoming book. It's not just about money, a practical guide to doing more good. Please give a warm welcome and expand our circle of compassion for Tammy Day.
All right, thanks, Graham. I'm not sure how I drew the short straw and had to follow Tom Henning in this presentation, but I will do my best to give you some information. As Tammy Day, I live and work in Norfolk. My husband and I own Dacos here, and we have about 60 employees that work at Dacos. Dacos provides revenue services for transportation companies across the United States. You don't have to remember that because that's not really key to what I'm going to talk about. But basically, we help transportation companies pay and get paid. We are also one of only 4, soon to be 5 B Corps in Nebraska. And I think we're a little different because we are the only B Corp outside of Lincoln and Omaha. So we are in a fairly rural community of Norfolk, Nebraska, here in the northeast corner of the state. So that makes us a little unique. And when I was thinking about this opportunity, I'm so grateful to be included in this esteemed group of Nebraska B Corps and to get to talk to you all a little bit about what we're doing here that I think is interesting. But I wanted to figure out, what can I do or talk about that's a little bit different? And I think what you might learn from me is that anyone can do good with their company. It doesn't matter how big you are, where you're located, what your actual products and services are. Anyone who wants to do more good in the world can do that. And I think the Dacos story helps you see that because, as I said, we're not in the metro, we're a fairly small company, and we don't have a socially minded product or service or customer base. I always joke when I talk to people and say we don't make vegan dog food or run a recycling service. We just offer billing and auditing for trucking companies, and most of them don't know what a B Corp is, and maybe they don't even care, right? So, but that is not what's important because we have chosen to run our company in a socially minded way. And to me, that is what makes all the difference. How you go about doing your work and how you go about running your company is where I think the impact comes, because we can all do a little more good in the world, and this is just one more avenue for that. So how do you go about doing that? And I think Tom's presentation did a great job covering a lot of those pieces, but I'll tell you what's important to us here at Dacos. First, you have to create a genuine intention about doing good with your business. I think Tom referenced the Simon Sinek why question. That is very important. And I think what is the most important part to me is that the why can't be about, if I do this, maybe I can hire more people. Or if I do this, maybe I will have a lower turnover rate. Or maybe employees will like to work here. In Nebraska, we often don't have enough people to fill the jobs that we have. And so while it's really intriguing and attractive to want to do something like this for those things, I believe that those are just outcomes of doing business in a driven way. They can't be the sole reason that you run your company as a force for good, because people will quickly see through that. And the work that you are able to do and the impact you're able to have will be much more superficial as a result. So figuring out what your true intention is in the really big picture reason you want to do more good with your company is a first step. I also think, which Tom did mention in some of his comments, is that the next thing you do is you have to figure out, how am I going to be all in? For us, we decided if we were going to do business with a purpose, Our purpose at Dacos is to do good and be good, period. And we decided if that's our purpose, then we have to be 100% all in. We can't do it when it's convenient. We can't tack on a separate program. We can't do it if we have some extra revenue around. It has to be part of every single thing we do. Hiring, recruiting, our workplace environment, how we invest in our people, how we treat our employees. If companies claim to be generous and perhaps they donate a lot of money, but they have a toxic work environment or they gouge their customers, right? That is not doing good and being good in all things. And I think then again, your ability to have an impact decreases because it is not infused into everything you do. So being 100% all in to me is important. And I think it's something that we continue to have to ask ourselves when we make decisions. How does this affect all of our stakeholders? And at the very least, it can't do any harm. And in fact, it should actually sustain and support and enhance all of the stakeholder outcomes and benefits. So being 100% all in. But I think the thing about Dacos that is different than a lot of things I read about around doing good with business is that our efforts are employee driven. So we, when we started our Do Good, Be Good efforts, we had a series of all company meetings where employees decided what they cared about, how they wanted to make a difference, and then how they would put that into action. So they created it, they own it, and they run it. And Brandon and I just try to stay out of the way as much as possible so that they can truly have an impact. And we do this because people own what they help create, right? You've heard the saying probably, no one ever washes a rental car, because if you don't own something, you don't take care of it. And I think that really applies here. If employees are told by leaders or told by upper management, this is what we're doing, or this is how we're going to live our purpose, or here's the organizations we donated to, I don't believe that has as great of an impact as if the employees are the ones actually making those decisions and leading that charge 100%. And that can be difficult, right? Because, I mean, business owners, managers, CEOs, I mean, their whole job is to lead after all. And so giving up that control of something as important as a company's impact can be really difficult. But I just think it's critical. It's really worth it, because what I have found and what I truly believe is that the real power of doing business in this way is in engaging others in the process. When people have opportunities to do something like this in a real hands-on, genuine way, then they more deeply understand and internalize the power of giving back and engaging in the community. And they will model that for other people, for their kids, for their neighbors, for their grandkids. And then that circle of goodness just continues to spin faster and faster. And the ripple effects into the community and the possible impacts and outcomes on that good work just grows exponentially. So I do believe when we can engage the most people in the process, we will have the most impact. So I am just about done, but just a couple of quick things I wanted to add. So I know I said, of course, at the beginning that it can't be about how do we hire more people or how do we keep people working in our companies, even though that's something all businesses want to do. However, there are positive outcomes for the business stakeholder when you are putting that goodness into the world. And I just wanted to share some of the things that we've seen at Dacos in the last 4 years, in case that is some inspiration for you to at least start to figure out what that intention is and how to get started. So some of our metrics that have shown us that this doing good is a thing that people want to be a part of. We have our employee satisfaction has gone up from 71% back in 2017 to consistently in the 93% range now. And that tracks very specifically with our efforts to have employee-driven doing more good work here. The second thing that we have found, which is always interesting to people in Nebraska where there aren't enough people to fill all the jobs, is that we actually have a list of 234 people right now who have said they want to work at Dacos, and please let them know when we have openings. They know that when they work here, they get to be a part of something in a real way that is bigger than just having a job. It's about doing work and having a chance to really, truly make an impact in the world in a different way. We have 85 to 90 applicants for every position we have. Our turnover rate is 5% or less almost all the time. And we have a lot of longevity here. Over 35% of our employees have been here for at least 8 years. And we have many people who have been here for 20 plus years. So people stay because it's a place they feel connected and they can really have an impact and make a difference. Our community engagement is up. We have more people serving on boards, volunteering, working in the community. And we've seen people grow. Employees who previously may have been shy or reserved are seeking leadership roles because they've had a chance to really dig in and make something that has meaning. So even though it's not the reason to do it, there are many outcomes that happen if you drive toward being a purpose-driven company. So I just wanted to put those out there as I close. I think my time is up, but I just wanted to say, anyone can do a little bit more good. And certainly the Dacos way is not the only way to do it, but it's an example of what's possible and some steps you can take to get started down that road and that path to purpose. So thank you. I appreciate being here. Please reach out to me with questions or comments in the chat, or I'm sure there are other ways we can connect. So thank you.
Tammy, thank you so much. It's always exciting and thrilling to be able to hear from you, and amazing to see that growth, especially of the individuals that are on the waiting list to be able to have a chance to work at Dacos. I think when we met a few years ago first, that list was somewhere around 70 or 80. And so to see that list growing to now 230, 240 is really remarkable. And once again, is a testament to the work that you're doing at Dacos, that you and Brandon are doing, and in the North Fork community and greater Nebraska community as well. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. And thank you for being a leader here in Nebraska and continuing to help move the needle on businesses and encouraging and amplifying that great work here in the state. Thank you.